thy rod and staff me comfort still, me comfort still.
Father was 53. Mother, Elizabeth Richardson Shindler, was 50. By then, we owned 2 properties outside of town, near Linden Spring and one near Rosebrake. My brother seemed to be saying that the railroad and canals doomed coppersmithing for them, at least the way Father had mastered it. Just as good and cheaper copperware could now be made. They began to look to a bigger world far away for new dreams. John stayed on and helped me with Mother and Father and the tinning business, but he knew the farm would feed him later on, so he concentrated on that. Brother Robert, who was 4 years younger, left home in the 1840s and traveled. Joseph would follow. My father must have been crushed again when George went over to stonemasonry. Then Daniel came into my life, and my family's. He was candid, generous, warm, clear, a minister ordained in the Reformed Church as the Reverend Daniel Bragonier in 1834. Poor father must have known that renting out to nice young ministers and their wives gave me a bright idea. We married, missed my parents terribly, wrote from our church in Clear Spring, then from the one in Winchester. The boys were going out on their own. Father had to hire 4 men at about $20 a month each to turn out pots, kettles, roofs, aspirators, and wound irrigators for Dr. Reynolds. Father was wealthy, but had everything but a bright future or legacy. The day Reverend Douglas stepped down as the minister at Shepherdstown's Reformed Church ushered in the 13 happiest years of my life, all together and well for the first time and last time. Daniel and I stayed in the Dutch Reformed parsonage on High Street, just east of Mill Street, raising our sons Robert, Daniel, Mary, and soon after we moved to Shepherdstown in 1846, Joseph. Nanny would soon follow. Prayers were not always whispered in our house, a scolding or two as well. I remember the day we all filed up to the Episcopal Church that was full when dear Father died in 1852. John and I helped Mother until I left with my family and husband in 1859. My husband was strong and clear in his beliefs, a problematical personality for any minister preaching to Shepherdstown in that time, when the slavery issue split the Methodist Church in our town asunder and was making cracks in ours. We took churches in Martinsburg and then in Edinburgh, Maryland. Daniel was never hardy, and now in 1868, with failing health, came home to Shepherdstown, both loved and remembered, and stayed with us at the Shindler home, now seasoned by 4 years of caring for the wounded from the Battle of Antietam and other smaller conflicts that never seemed to cease. Maybe the war wore my husband down, but we lost him and my mother in 1867 and 8. She was the oldest citizen in town and knew everything about it, most of which was memory stranded on the far side of a chasm of time called the Civil War. The ministers were right and made us cry when at the funeral service they spoke of Daniel. He was possessed with a very exalted sense of the office of this Christian ministry. The minister said to all present, "He spoke his mind fearlessly, frank, and generous. It was not part of his character to dissemble. He had many friends, warm friends, and enemies." Beliefs, those past 10 years, had been a heavy yoke sometimes. How appropriate that Adam Cook set up shop coppersmithing just about then. Father would have liked that. He would have also liked the minister at Daniel's service who referred to himself and Mother as sainted, and so they were. And I wished my house, our family home, to go on serving even after us, the Shindlers. It pleased me that Mayor Joseph Welshons, the blacksmith, called on me, and helped by my now-grown son Joseph's lawyering, bought the Shindler home to be the new parsonage for Daniel's Reformed Church. The old parsonage, the one we lived in for 13 years, was in the path of the railroad track being laid along Mill Street. For many years John and I survived our family, watching our children carry on. What a life, I think. I think it's been all right.
Mm-hmm.